As parliamentary tradition demands, every parliamentary meeting begins with prayers. I will therefore beg your indulgence for this assembly to rise in 1 minute of prayers and meditation. Thank you, sir. Thank you. May we remain standing in honor of the ECOWAS anthem. Control room, please. Thank you very much, honorable speakers and honorable members. You may resume your seat. Honorable Chairperson of the ECOWAS Parliamentary Committee on Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Senator Snow, the Clerk of the ECOWAS Parliament, the Right Honorable Majority Leader of the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia, and Head of Gambia's delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, Honorable Bileji Tunkara, the Right Honorable Minister of Interior, Honorable Siaka Sonko, the Right Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, our host, the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly of the Gambia, Honorable Fabakary Tijata, and the first Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Right Honorable Pinto. Welcome to Banjul. Honorable Speaker, ECOWAS is an institution of peace, harmony, unity. It envisages one community, one people, one vision. And to this end, ECOWAS has adopted a series of protocols that are geared towards promoting peace and security in the ECOWAS community. However, despite the lofty goals of these protocols, coupling into the ECOWAS conflict prevention framework, there still exist gaps in implementation in member states. To the extent violent extremism is still happening in West Africa, coup d'etats are still happening in West Africa, internal conflicts are still happening in West Africa, and economies are not promising as ECOWAS envisaged. And it is for this reason that the ECOWAS Parliament decided to organize this delocalized meeting to explore the challenges that is limiting the implementation of community texts on peace and security. On that note, I now have the pleasure to invite the Right Honorable Majority Leader and Head of ECOWAS Delegation of the Gambia, Honorable Bileji Tunkara, to welcome his colleagues to Banjul. Honorable Sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Good morning to all of you. Let me begin with saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our host, the Speaker of the National Assembly of the Gambia, Honorable Deputy Speaker of ECOWAS Parliament, colleagues from the National Assembly of the Gambia and ECOWAS Parliament, senior government official, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Minister of Interior, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol respectfully observed. Good morning to all. Let me first welcome my colleagues from ECOWAS Parliament to our beautiful country, the Gambia, Africa's smiling coast. I hope on the sidelines of this meeting you will take time to explore the beauties this country is endowed with. Honorable speakers, distinguished guests, I am delighted that the ECOWAS Parliament has chosen the Gambia for the meeting of the Joint Committee on Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Legal Affairs, Human Rights, Social Affairs, Gender and Women Empowerment, to critically examine the challenges that confront the implementation of community texts on conflict prevention. It is a well-known fact that the Gambia is a country that has earned the reputation of peace and security with the ECOWAS community. It is therefore a good choice that this delocalized meeting to assess the mechanisms that can engender peace and security in our community is being held in the Gambia. Honorable speakers, the significance of this joint committee cannot be overemphasized. The world is facing with an unprecedented crisis, and the ECOWAS community is not in exemption. The impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the emergence of new conflict in the world has negatively affected the ECOWAS community, thus leading to higher cost of living in our member states. The consequence of climate change has posed risk of food insecurity, the challenges of democracy in some of our member states are increased. In violence extremism, which demonstrates the relevance and the urgency of this delocalized meeting to have in the Gambia. We are, of course, aware that progress is being made in detecting and monitoring early signs of conflict, and this is enhanced by a local initiative to facilitate ownership. Conflict prevention mechanism has been established which provide useful insight into potential crisis. However, these mechanisms should be strengthened to produce timely and tangible outcomes. This joint committee meeting therefore illuminates the commitment of ECOWAS Parliament as the aspiration of citizens of ECOWAS community in all to explore the missing links between the proper legislative process and procedures and the complex arts of governance. This is obvious because, just like our national parliament, committees of ECOWAS Parliament have mandated to conduct inquiry on a range of issues to produce reports to assist the ECOWAS Commission and all stakeholders in protecting, promoting, and fulfilling the rights of liberties of people. Honorable Speaker, there is already a growing interest, more conflict prevention and promotion of peace and security around the world as assess the gap in the implementation of legislative framework for conflict prevention in our sub-region. Let us also bear in mind that the promotion and strengthening of democracy and good governance in our member state will be a crucial step forward to achieving our desired objectives. The ECOWAS Parliament has a critical role to play in this. As the elected representative of the people, honorable members have the honorable task to ensure our government are of and by the people in the performance of our key functions of legislation, representation, and oversight function. We can actively engage in development and implementation of laws, policies, and programs, and practice to promote democracy and good governance in our respective member states. Honorable Speaker, to conclude, I wish to urge colleagues to take maximum use of this opportunity presented by the meeting to engage on meetings themed with the view to proffer tangible solution. The promotion of peace and security is an odious task. However, the consultative approach applied in the conceptualization of our conflict preventions sets well in the ECOWAS-centered vision and introduces another avenue for true regional integration to occur. We must come with strategic resolutions that will ensure full implementation of protocol of ECOWAS in respect to peace and conflict prevention. Once again, I welcome you all to the localized meeting, and please don't forget to explore the smiling coast of the Gambia. I thank you so much for your indulgence.
Can we give Honorable Tunkara a round of applause? That is indeed both a welcoming and an icebreaker. Honorable members, your colleague has charged you to take ownership of this meeting and ensure that what you were mandated to do is done well and in accordance with your guiding principles. Once again, Honorable Tunkara, we thank you. Honorable speakers, ECOWAS' prime objective is integration, ensuring that our countries are closely connected in vision, in rule, in regulation, and in approach. And in the Gambia, the person placed to oversee that is no other person than the Right Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation, and Gambians Abroad, Dr. Mamadou Tangara. I have the honor to invite him to give a goodwill message. Thank you.
Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta, Speaker of the National Assembly of the Gambia, Honorable Siaka Sonko, Minister of Interior, the Deputy Speaker representing, I guess, the Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Dr. Sidi Mohamed Tunis, who is unavoidably absent, Honorable Bile Tunkara, Head of the Gambian Delegation and ECOWAS Parliament, esteemed members of ECOWAS Parliament and other organs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to join all of you today, and I wish to express my sincere appreciation and thanks to the Joint Committee for its diligence in finding solutions and panaceas to the most crucial challenges in our community. Indeed, the convening of this meeting is a worthwhile occasion permitting us to speed up the implementation and domestication of the texts that will serve as breviary in changing the prospects of our peoples and nation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government of the Gambia, I wish to recognize and commend all members of the Joint Committee for the comprehensive work in charting new and better course for ECOWAS. By the same token, I'm pleased with the impressive results. Session after session, I can see that our plan of actions and strategies are beginning to chalk up successes. The government of the Gambia associates itself with all the decisions of this meeting and shares with you a great vision of the future for the progressive ECOWAS. Be rest assured at all times of the forthright position and leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow and the commitment of the Gambia government in the implementation and domestication of all texts. Honorable parliamentarians, ladies and gentlemen, as nations sharing the same destiny, we have a moral obligation and a collective responsibility to act swiftly to address all issues hampering the institutional advancement, the consolidation of peace, security, and the empowerment of women who are the driving forces of the region. Today, it is immensely gratifying to observe the overwhelming response of all partners and people of goodwill here present to affirm a faith in a common purpose, a common conviction, common devotion in the consolidation of peace, security, and good governance, and other community achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable parliamentarians, member states must now give full support to the domestication and implementation of all legal instruments relative to the free movement of persons, goods, and services, as well as other protocols aimed at hinching the great people of ECOWAS closer to the ideals of political peace, social progress, and economic affluence. In the midst of unprecedented spiraling instability and insecurity and destabilizing factors, the domestication, harmonization, and implementation of regional texts must be the urgent task at hand. These texts are pivotal in the regular and peaceful course and trajectory of our countries and decisive in keeping our domestic and regional affairs adjusted to shifting world conditions and international standards. I hope we will continue the momentum generated at all sessions and go out strong of this one with a renewed sense of commitment in our quest for the best for our nations and our peoples. As I always say, we are a community with a history of common conviction and a spirit of purpose. Et je saisis cette occasion pour réaffirmer ici que la bonne gouvernance est le prérequis pour la paix et la stabilité. Et les parlements dans les différents pays ont un rôle crucial à jouer. Ce rôle de soupape de sûreté pour assurer à ce que l'exécutif ne confonde pas sinécure et sacerdoce et que ne confonde pas ses attributions avec ses privilèges. Donc vous avez un rôle fondamental à jouer et la bonne gouvernance passe essentiellement par le dynamisme de la vie parlementaire. I very much thank you for your kind attention and I wish you successful deliberations in our efforts to make the mantra accompanying the ECOWAS Vision 2050, ECOWAS of the people, peace and prosperity for all, a regional reality. Thank you so very much.
Can we give another round of applause to the Honorable Minister? A louder one. I don't think it's loud enough. Let's give him a louder round of applause. As for Parliament, because of the respect he has for authority of the speakership, he makes his way straight to this conference center and to give a goodwill message. Thank you very much once again, Honorable Minister. Honorable speakers, this delocalized meeting of the ECOWAS parliamentary committees is being held in Banjul because there is peace, there is stability. There is law and order is prevailing. And the man in charge of ensuring that Gambia remains peaceful and safe for everyone across the ECOWAS community is no other person than the Honorable Minister for Interior. I now have the pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister, Siaka Sonko, to make a goodwill address.
Speaker of the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia, Honorable Fawaka Tombong Jatta, Haja Pintu Kamara, Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, and other cabinet colleagues here present, members of the National Assembly here and coming from the ECOWAS, head of the Gambian delegation of members of ECOWAS Parliament, Honorable Bile G. Tunkara, head of Democracy and Good Governance, Department of Political Affairs, Peace and Security of the ECOWAS Commission, Emmanuel Okorodudu, representatives of the UN agencies and other international organizations in the country, diplomatic and consular corps, senior government officials, representatives of NGOs and CSOs, the media fraternity, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome to the Gambia. I feel honored to be one of your guests for this very important occasion. Also, I want to express my deepest appreciation to each and every one of you for attending this function. Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the government and the people of the Gambia, I want to extend sincere appreciation to ECOWAS for the support in ensuring peace, security, and stability in our country following the change of government in December 2016. The government and people of this country are still grateful for the role the community played restoring the will and mandate of the people in consolidating the democratic gains since then. Mr. Chairman, the ECOWAS region still faces so many security challenges despite a significant drop in the incidence of civil wars and large-scale violent conflicts. The rise in political violence, ethnic conflicts, proliferation of small arms and light weapons is a serious cause for concern. The increase in these conflicts and the proliferation of small arms and light weapons and the transborder organized crimes in the region is a threat to peace, stability, and more importantly, to growth and development. Conflicts and civil strife have contributed more to socio-economic decline and human suffering than any other single internal factor. West Africa economic achievements made are lost over a short period of time. Conflicts have consumed chunks of scarce resources, thereby undermining the ability of member states to address the more compelling needs of their people. Internal and interstate conflicts have forced thousands, if not millions, of our people, including women, children, and elderly, into a drifting life as refugees and internally displaced persons, IDPs, deprived of their means of livelihood, dignity, and hope. Human suffering in terms of loss of lives, displacement, and increased level of poverty are devastating on victims and families. Therefore, conflict prevention and the effective management of threats to peace and stability of the region is not only a necessity, but also a moral imperative for member states if we truly care about the well-being of our people. With peace and security, there will be a reduction in defense and post-conflict reconstruction expenditures, thus enabling member states to redirect more resources towards raising the level of production and services, augmenting the living standards of our people, creating more job opportunities, and achieving economic growth and development. Mr. Chairman, ECOWAS has developed and adopted a number of good text protocols, including the ECOWAS Revised Treaty of July 1993, Article 58, protocol relating to the mechanism for conflict prevention, management, resolution, peacekeeping, and security of December 1999, protocol on democracy and good governance of December 2001, ECOWAS conflict prevention framework, Article 72 to 76 of January 2008, ECOWAS Convention on Small Arms and Light Weapons, their ammunition and other related materials of July 2006, and the Declaration of Moratorium on Importation, Exportation, and Manufacture of Light Weapons of October 1998. These text protocols adopted by states are all aimed at preventing, managing, and settling conflicts in the community, as well as maintaining and promoting peace and regional security. However, effective implementation of these texts or protocols, and many others are hampered by a number of challenges, including, but not limited to, slow rate of ratification, low level of domestication into international laws, and lack of awareness of their existence and scope. These challenges and many others hinder the effective implementation of the text, thereby making them less effective in improving security and good governance. Mr. Chairman, this joint committee meeting and the theme, community text relating to peace, security, democracy, and good governance, challenges in their implementation, and the oversight role of ECOWAS Parliament is indeed very timely and relevant. It is timely and relevant as it creates an opportunity for us to make greater ownership, to take greater ownership of the ECOWAS protocols on peace and security, democracy, and good governance. Most importantly, it provides us an opportunity for members of the Joint Committee to acquaint themselves with the protocol relating to peace and security, democracy, and good governance. 2, identify the challenges in the implementation of the protocols, and 3, to identify the best mechanism for oversight for effective implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, I therefore urge all of you to actively participate in the interactive sessions in the coming days, share experiences, and come up with ideas, suggestions, and measures to overcome the challenges in the implementation of the community protocols, including or related to peace, security, democracy, and good governance. On this note, I wish you a very fruitful deliberation in the next 5 days. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, members from the National Assembly of the Gambia. They have come to show solidarity to their colleagues from the ECOWAS Parliament to assure them that the journey they seek to undertake this week is a shared journey and they have their full support. And can you kindly move the microphones to her desk? Thank you.
Excelência, Senhor Representante do Parlamento de CDAO de Deputado de Gâmbia, Sua Excelência, Senhor Secretário-Geral, Excelentíssimo Presidente da Comissão, Senhor Sino, Excelência, membros do Parlamento de CDAO e deputados de CDAO, e comissão especializada que vem trabalhar aqui, e comissão. Essa reunião trata de comissão deslocada, de comissão mista, assuntos políticos, paz, segurança, assuntos jurídicos, direito humano, assuntos social, gênero e promoção de mulheres. Com permissão do presidente da Assembleia de Gâmbia, queremos falar um pouco sobre esta reunião deslocada aqui na Gâmbia. Gostaria, em tudo, vos agradecer do fundo do meu coração por ter a honra com vossa presença efetiva nessa importante reunião deslocada, comissão mista sobre assuntos políticos, paz, segurança, assuntos jurídicos, direito humano, assuntos sociais, gêneros e mulheres. Essas reuniões deslocadas são organizadas fora da sede parlamentar para garantir que a instituição esteja presente em todo o espaço da comunidade. Essa é uma grande oportunidade para o Parlamento de integrar como cidadãos descoberta e plenos diversidade na comunicação aqui na Gâmbia. Gâmbia é conhecida por uma passagem panorâmica, a sua cultura, excepção de dedicação, seu povo, democracia e a justiça. Ficou sempre feliz enquanto visitamos a Banjul, capital do Gâmbia, capital econômica, centro turístico da Gâmbia. Boas-vindas aos colegas hospitalar inaugural é sempre sinto-me caso é encontrar a nossa história comum. Essa interligação liga muitas maneiras e muitas facetas. Estamos presentes aqui em Banjul para deliberar sobre os desafios relacionados com a implementação do texto da CDAO. A comunidade relativa ao paz, segurança, democracia, boa governação. Também deliberamos sobre o nosso fundo monetário, implementação de texto comunitário. De fato, há um grande número de textos comunitários adotados como objetivo de prevenir, gerindo a resolução de conflitos, espaços comunitários. Este texto fora elaborado para manter, promover paz, segurança a nível da nossa comunidade regional. Essa é uma das relações mais avançadas de matéria de integração política regional do mundo. No entanto, a nossa região continua atormentada por instabilidade política, de conflitos pelo terrorismo, pelo banditismo, pelos crimes acabem. Por palavras, os parlamentares exercem as suas funções de controle parlamentar a fim de assegurar, aplicar controle parlamentar, a fim de assegurar o controle parlamentar eficaz de texto comunitário, trabalhar para a harmonização política historial dessa legislação do Estado-membro, tal como referindo artigo 4, número 1 do ato adicional relativo ao reforço dessa prerrogativa do Parlamento. Os problemas mais ligados à estabilidade governativa na nossa região são realidade da nossa vida cotidiana, perda de vida humana e destruição de patrimônios do Estado são inequestáveis e estão sempre jornada em que se diastram. A questões em que se colocam, devemos enquadrar deputados parlamentares, permitir intervir aos distintos problemas da nossa população. Como representante do Parlamento, não devemos cruzar os braços, assistindo segurança e proteção do nosso povo, sendo constantemente comprometido por uma punhal de anarquismos. Estamos cientes na situação, estamos registrando, mas agora devemos lutar com mais frente, forma de maneira mais eficaz a população dera nosso poder. Devemos criar, usar poderes de maneira em que garantia a sucesso. Ilustres deputados, distintos colegas, senhoras e senhores, atualmente várias democracias do mundo estão confrontadas com dificuldades. Essas dificuldades são muitas vezes empunhando a falta de confiança e a obrigatoriedade de prestação de contas. Assim, mudança de regime e formas em numerosos regimes mundo em África, enfraquecido na nossa democracia, causando pela abuso eleitoral, divisão étnica, mais injeção de recursos naturais, pobreza e ignorância, fraca economia, vantagem ação política na necessidade para controlar esses problemas da nação. Realizando pelas nossas instituições, não se diz integração dos assuntos de todas, como não se diz feito já temos para que nós, regiões, aproveitamos. Todos esses atos não integramos incumbidos que quase parlamentos contribuir implementação eficaz de efeito dos objetivos da política comunitária. Enquanto presidente do Parlamento de CDAO, o membro dessa comunidade, Dr. Sidi Mohamed, vossos irmãos, escutar, ativamente, discussão, contribuir, debates, promover soluções aos problemas que se colocam. A eficácia deste texto depender da qualidade do controle e da obrigatoriedade, prestação de contas, portas, inserem emitido numa das fases perguntas. Particionar, temos intensificar o trabalho coletivo no sentido de encontrar as formas de renunciar esses resultados da região para fazer como que a finança seja reabilitada. Na nossa instituição, na nossa capacidade em promover a democracia, em prol de todos fazer no sentido de desejo pleno sucesso nas vossas elaborações de uma saída favorosa para todos os nossa região. Ilustres deputados, distintos colegas, senhoras e senhores, antes de concluir, permite-me aproveitar a ocasião para atirar a vossa atenção sobre a venda muito marcante em que desenrolou na nossa região durante esses últimos dias. Tratando-se de, primeiramente, dos atos violentos observados na quarta-feira, dia 11 de agosto, na cidade de Freetown, na Serra Leoa, em que causaram perda de vida humana, destruindo bens e irregularidade, tantas pessoas e manifestações violentas sobre qualquer forma em que seja não inadmissível. Nos condenamos com maior viabilidade firme atos violentos em que foram observados na Serra Leoa, apelamos todas as partes de respeitar pelo Estado de Direito em que a melhor forma de garantir as tarefas qualquer tipo de serviço. Em segundo, vemos a realização de eleição legislativa na Senegal no dia 31 de junho último, que aproveitou essa tribuna para saudar o povo senegalense pelo desenrolando pacificamente da eleição, desejando igualmente felicitar todos os vencedores, quadros em parceiros que podem trazer mais deputados no nosso Parlamento de CDAO para trabalharmos conjunto. Para concluir, gostaria de retirar a minha sincera agradecimento à Autoridade da República de Gâmbia, sentindo-nos sempre em nossa casa quando estamos em terra gambiana. Desejamos Comissão Mista excelência do futuro de libertação. Viva CDAO, viva a República de Gâmbia, viva deputados do Parlamento de CDAO, viva a Comissão Mista que estão reunidos aqui. Muito obrigado. Merci. Thank you very much.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, Honorable Minister of Interior, Honorable members of the ECOWAS Parliament, Majority Leader, Minority Leader of the Gambian Parliament, and their colleagues to the ECOWAS Parliament, Secretary General and staff from the ECOWAS Parliament, permanent secretaries and senior government officials here in present, clerk and staff of the National Assembly of the Gambia, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, and our media fraternity. The National Assembly of the Gambia is honored to host the ECOWAS Parliament for the localized meeting of the Joint Committee on Political Affairs, Peace and Security, and the APRM, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, Social Affairs, Gender and Women Empowerment. On behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, the government and people of the Gambia, I welcome you all to the smiling coast of Africa. The theme for this convergence, community texts on peace, security, good governance, challenges in their implementation and the oversight role of ECOWAS Parliament, cannot have come at a much better time than now, when the values of democracy are being undermined in our republics. Violent extremism is threatening the very fabric of our societies, and rising cost of living is posing significant challenges in safeguarding peace in virtually all our member states. And the success of ECOWAS as a regional body in addressing issues of peace and security largely depend on the commitment of the member states. While it is on record that the regional experience yielded positive results, there is still the need for more committed and proactive interventions. Peace and security is the bedrock on which all development efforts are anchored. In fact, it's an adage that where there is no justice, don't expect peace. This is obvious because without peace and security, our member states will not be able to implement effective economic policies, enforce the rule of law, attract business investments, and deliver public infrastructure and services. However, to achieve peace and security require first and foremost justice. This implies that our governments must be transparent in the way and manner they manage the affairs of the people, deliver governance in accordance with the dictates of the principles of democracy and rule of law, and above all, be accountable to the people. Parliamentarians are the gatekeepers of this accountability through their legislative and oversight functions. This joint committee meeting to assess the challenges in the application of the text that seeks to safeguard peace and security within the ECOWAS community therefore illustrates the commitment of the Community Parliament to ensure that member states are compliant with community legislation and denotes a fulfillment of the mandate of ECOWAS Parliament as the key oversight organ of the institution of ECOWAS community. Honorable Speaker, honorable ministers, honorable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is obvious that Parliament has a special role in the promotion and protection of peace and security, good governance and human rights, a responsibility it shares with the executive and the judiciary. In spite of this shared responsibility, and owing to its role in law-making, the Parliament is the institution that is best pleased to give effect to upholding human rights, promote peace and security, enhance and ensure good governance, take practical measures to empower women, and to ensure that law provides practical means through which remedies can be sought for challenges that confront our societies. Suffice it to say, members of Parliament represent the masses, shape laws, and exercise oversight over the executive. This localized meeting is therefore an indication that our community parliament is taking concrete steps to monitor and respond to the needs of the citizens of the ECOWAS community with a view to passing legislation capable of ensuring critical scrutiny and serving as a vehicle for improving standards of probity, efficiency, and responsiveness in the administration of essential elements of ensuring good governance. In fact, it is self-evident that Parliament is the key institution in democracy, the apex organization that can safeguard the basic rights of citizens. I am optimistic that the outcome of this convergence will provide tangible guidelines to the ECOWAS Parliament to be able to monitor policy implementation programs at national levels, address the needs and concerns of member states, and act as a catalyst in the realization of the fundamental objectives of ECOWAS. Honorable Speaker, honorable ministers, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, here in the Gambia, the government of President Adama Barrow has demonstrated strong political will and commitment to peace, security, human rights, youth and women empowerment. The space for civil and political liberties have been expanded, and security sector reform is ongoing. A National Human Rights Commission has been established, and there is also no shortage of legislation to guarantee the rights of women and recognize the need for their empowerment to take part in decision-making, although challenges still exist in achieving gender parity and equality. As you therefore deliberate, I wish to encourage honorable members to take reflections from the key success stories of member states and frankly discuss the challenges encountered to arrive at informed conclusions on the way forward. On that note, Honorable Speaker, honorable ministers, honorable members, I have the singular honor to declare this meeting officially open and wish you the best in your deliberations. And please, do not forget to explore the beauties of the Smiling Coast during your stay in Banjul. Thank you once again. I thank you all.
Thank you very much. I think I am being vindicated in announcing him as the veteran.